I heard a story many years ago I've never forgotten. Isaac Asimov was asked by a reporter a question many of us find ourselves constantly faced with. What's the harm? What's the harm in someone believing in something as seemingly innocuous as, say, astrology? And Asimov said this: it is a loss of opportunity to humanity. We all have limited, finite resources in this life of time, energy, money. Every hour and every dollar that's wasted on something that does not exist will never be recovered, not by any individual, not by society as a whole. Every dollar and hour that's invested in something that does not exist, something false, something misleading, is a dollar and an hour and a quantity of human energy and effort that could have been invested in something real, and which in turn stands a much better chance of contributing to making the world a better place for all of us. So before we even get to the victims who are robbed of dignity and joy and money and sometimes their lives by psychics and common of so many stripes, the human cost begins with that loss of opportunity. I once attended an event in Washington, D.C. that was advertised as a week of healing by a rather famous and successful traveling preacher. It was in a very large hall, hired for the purpose. On the road, probably more often, it was a tent. It was filled to the brim with thousands of people. Several thousand had been similarly filled, no doubt, each night of an entire week. After some singing and some prayer and some preaching, the healings began. Various people came to the stage and claimed to be healed, claimed to see what they could not see before, hear what they could not hear before, walk where they could not stand before. The crowd seemed to take quite a celebratory attitude, and I remained open-minded to many possibilities, including the possibility those witnesses were now testifying to wondrous deeds might have been on the wonder workers' payroll. I saw a man with one leg shorter than the other have his leg visibly lengthened to match the other, under the hands of the preacher, one of the oldest carny tricks in the business. Then the preacher extended his arms in benediction and announced that many, many people in the crowd were also now healed of their ailments and concerns. And he asked them to come forward, and any of them who had felt the healing to come forward and testify to their personal miracles. And several people began to come forward to explain they had felt the healing. Their descriptions didn't strike me as particularly wondrous or inexplicable. It seemed more like these folks wanted to just step forward, be part of the excitement, share in the joy and the attention. Okay, why not? But then a woman came to the microphone. She was shy and awkward and spoke gently and with what was clearly great gratitude and an overwhelming sense of relief. She stepped up and began to speak, and she explained that recently she had detected a lump in her breast, and it had made her afraid. And she had eventually seen her doctor, who had wanted to run some tests, but she was afraid of the tests, and she had waited, and she had not returned to the doctor because she was afraid. But now, she said, trembling with the release from the weight of her fear, she knew that on this very night she had come to be healed, and now she knew she had been healed. And she knew this with such certainty, praise be, that she knew she did not now even have to return to her doctor again. And she was relieved and grateful, and she thanked the preacher who embraced her, and perhaps she contributed some money before the evening was out. It would not surprise me at all. Few things do anymore. But what is the harm?